Hello, thank you for joining us for another episode of Water Talk. I'm your host, Doug Davis, and we're sponsored by EcoloBlue. EcoloBlue manufactures atmospheric water generators, and these are machines that make water from the air, so you can be completely water independent. You don't have to worry about emergency preparedness. You can have it solar powered and be completely off grid. You can have an industrial machine that can supply water for the whole house if you'd like. We actually have industrial machines that can produce water from 66 gallons a day up to 1,600 gallons a day. But our home and office unit is an EB30 that you can find on our website at EcoloBlue.com. That's EcoloBlue.com. And that home and office unit can produce up to 8 gallons a day. But today we're going to be talking about water applications for wineries. And with us today is the owner of Engelmann Cellars here in Fresno, California. And I want to welcome Bret Engelman. Bret, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So tell me, in the process of making the wine, how much water is actually used or goes into that process? It's my understanding it's really not that much.
Well, the main water we use comes in the grape in the form of juice. But,
right?
Yeah, that gets fermented out into wine. But, we use a lot of water. There's a lot of cleaning. It's a product that, you're cleaning your tanks, you're cleaning your barrels. In the lab, you do a lot of lab work, stuff like that. So, sanitation is one of the main things at a winery production facility like this, and so there's quite a bit that goes through.
So is that on a daily basis, or is that on just during the season? With like you guys just finished your harvesting, and it was there's a period called the crush. Is that right?
Crush harvest, yeah, that's usually August through here in the Central Valley, maybe October. Cooler climates they go into November, stuff like that, and that's where you're going to do the majority of it. Because when you're using your crusher or your press or any of those equipment, you got to clean that every day, and you got to clean it really well.
So what kind of problems do you run into that could be an issue with the water that you use?
For us, we're fairly fortunate. We're on a well. But anybody that's on a municipality, chlorine's a big deal with the wineries. Trace amount of chlorines, if you're using chlorinated water to clean your equipment, clean your barrels, clean anything, that trace amount of chlorine can get into your wine, and then there's a mold that'll grow on your corks. And if that mold comes into contact with a chlorine molecule, you'll get what's called cork taint in your bottles.
Cork taint.
And it's a gnarly.
So that's interesting because you think the chlorine typically, or at least in my mind, when I hear chlorine being used in water, it's for sanitation process
to make it cleaner.
Right? To make it cleaner.
Yeah.
But you're saying that in this case, it actually has an adverse effect and is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's that little mold spore that, like I said, sometimes on natural cork, and that's why some people really push for synthetic corks or screw caps. I'm still not a big fan of the synthetic corks. I do like screw caps, but we still use real wood corks.
Well, yeah, that's
they irradiate
real
the corks
wine, right?
now and everything else, yeah, to get rid of those mold spores. But if that spore is present and if that chlorine is present in trace amounts, it can happen. And all of a sudden, you pop your bottle and you got this nice bottle of wine that you maybe spent $20, $30, whatever on, and pop it open and it smells. It's the weirdest smell. It smells kind of like a clean, dirty gym sock.
Oh my gosh!
It's a weird thing. It's kind of funky.
So when
you smell that clean chlorine kind of thing too.
So is that what people are looking for? Like when you see in the movies, sometimes they're at the dinner table and someone pops a bottle, and they're smelling the cork. Is that what they're looking for?
Yeah, sometimes. You can. Usually, as soon as the cork comes out,
I never see anybody smelling the cap.
Yeah, no, you don't see that too often. I always say a cork smells like wood because it's wood. It's they all smell the same pretty much. But it's a big problem. I know just a few years back we had a situation with some of our wine barrels that we bought, and where they process the barrels in the Midwest, they're American oak barrels. They have a dechlorinator that all their water, because they had municipal water coming in, so this dechlorinator pulls the chlorine out of the water as they're processing, making the barrels, because they use a lot of water to steam the barrels so they can bend the wood to put the barrel together, the rest of it. This thing went down for half a day and nobody knew that the dechlorinator wasn't working. So now all of a sudden these barrels went out and they were getting sold and the rest of it. And fortunately for us, we were lucky enough to get 2 of those barrels, which by the time we found out that we had 2 of these bad barrels, those already got blended into 8 barrels. So now we had 8 barrels of wine that had this cork taint in the barrel, and there was nothing we could do with it.
So is it fair to say that this is a common, or can be a common challenge for wineries in general?
It is. Cork taint's they're always trying to get rid of it. It doesn't happen all the time. This was a fluke thing that happened with the barrels and stuff. The wine corks, you can read, you can Google cork taint on corks, and you'll just have all kinds of people talking, why you shouldn't use real cork, or why you should use synthetic. personally on my end, why don't we just get the chlorine out of the situation in the first place?
Yeah.
If you don't have that component right there, the chlorine component, you don't have to worry about it.
So most wineries like yourself that are on wells don't really run into that issue so much. But wineries that are, as you mentioned, that are on municipal water supply, obviously they're going to have that challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do they do to eliminate the chlorine?
You know, I don't have any friends that are running municipal wineries. I know there's quite a few of them now because you're seeing them pop up in industrial areas, especially, I mean, not so much here in Fresno. We're still kind of in the rural areas, but I'm seeing a lot of them in industrial parks in other cities and stuff like that. And I don't know if they're pulling in dechlorinators or if they're maybe getting different water or scrubbing or something. I don't really know, but I know when we talked about your product, I mean, it was something that the light bulb went on real fast, saying I could see this as a really nice option for something like that.
Or a great solution for the wineries that are dealing with municipal water. The fact is that they are having to use dechlorination process, and there's the equipment that they have to purchase for the dechlorinating. There's chemicals that they have to use within the water also. And so there's an ongoing overhead cost there, not to mention the cost of the water itself. So if they were to use one of our industrial machines supplying a large amount of water per day that they could even let run during the off season to build up a reservoir of water, then they're not going to have any chlorination issues.
Yeah,
fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could definitely see that working. And I mean, a lot of the water that we use, it's most wineries, we're fairly friendly with our water. We understand, we respect, the Mother Nature and the rest of it. So, I mean, you reuse it and stuff. It's not all wastewater that goes down the drain and stuff. So, yeah, I think something, I mean, especially a medium-sized winery or a small winery like us, I mean, we could get away with, one of your units real easy.
So how long has your winery been in business now?
I started the winery in 2000, so we've been 13 years now.
Congratulations,
thanks.
man. I remember when you were just getting that off the ground, it was a bit of a challenge. I mean, you're like in a whole nother level from where you were when you first started.
13 years later, I still feel like we're still getting it off the ground, but
we have
we're
some
still
pictures
here.
of the Engelmann Cellars I think we had provided. Maybe Bret can walk us through a couple of those. Where can someone go to find your product?
The best thing is EngelmannCellars.com. We ship all the time. We're such a small local winery in the Fresno area. We've got 5 local Costco's in the Fresno area, so Merced, Visalia. They're selling our Cabernet Sauvignon, so that's a great avenue. Yeah.
So tell me about on the wine products themselves. I mean, you had some notoriety, haven't you? Haven't there been some award winners?
We've done all right. We use only Fresno County grapes, so we're real big on this. My family's been in the grape industry here in Fresno for over 100 years, mostly raisins. And a little bit of table grapes, and we have sold some grapes to the wineries. But as far as when I started the winery, I really wanted to focus on Fresno grapes that everybody likes to badmouth, saying it's too hot here. We can't grow these good grapes and make great wines. So we only use those. And this year we just won 4 competitions, won 20 medals. Puts us at
20 medals, wow.
108 medals in the last 11 years or so of competition. So, and every one of those are all from Fresno County grapes. We don't bring grapes in from outside the area, so if we can't grow it here...
Well, I want to say congratulations on all those victories.
Yeah, thanks.
Brett, thanks for being on this show.
No
Go
problem.
out
Thanks
and
for
check
having
out Engelmann Wineries. Go to a Friday night event. That's always a lot of fun. And if you're a winery out there on municipal water, you should be talking to us to get rid of that chlorine. Make your own water from air. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The revolution in water resource management is here. Introducing EcoloBlue's atmospheric water generators. EcoloBlue's generators are able to take humidity right out of the atmosphere and turn that humidity into the cleanest drinking water that you can get. Everyday tap water contains thousands of different particles in it. However, EcoloBlue's generators not only filter out many of these particles, but they add minerals to your water to make sure you have the purest drinking water available. EcoloBlue is both economically sound as well as environmentally safe. Why pay outrageous prices for bottled water when you can pay just 20 cents per gallon with EcoloBlue? In addition to saving money, you'll also be saving the environment. Unlike bottled water companies that produce tons of plastic waste that harms our planet, EcoloBlue's products produce little to no waste. With EcoloBlue, you now have more options for the use of your water than ever before. In addition to the hot and cold functions to your generator, you now have the ability to carbonate your water. Enjoy making soda water right in the comfort of your own home. Having EcoloBlue is now essential when being prepared for any emergency. Each day, 850 water mains break in North America alone. Add on natural disasters such as droughts, hurricanes, and earthquakes, having the ability to be water independent is more important than ever. With EcoloBlue, you're no longer dependent on traditional sources for water. From our smaller home-sized generators to our industrial-sized generators, EcoloBlue has a solution for any situation. And now with our new solar panel kits, you can be truly water independent. Assert your water independence. Thousands of businesses and families across America have been enjoying pure drinking water for years thanks to EcoloBlue. To get more information, visit our website at EcoloBlue.com or call us at 1-800-691-6043.